man, I'll never be touched, ain't nobody be rocking with me. Niggas be pushing they luck if they wanna get tough when I'm keeping the tuck in my jeans. Feel like I'm on a new level, I got a new bezel, I'm doubling up for my team. Had to go skirting to beat me, your shorty is screaming, she popping up after you lean. I want money, diamonds, rain. I need commas, I need grain. You a coulda, shoulda, woulda, boy, you never stopping me. I've been grinding till the sun up, barely got the time to breathe. I'll be running from these hunters, and they falling right to me. Like they trying to catch up, but I'm calling that bluff, cause I'm all the way up at the finish. Niggas be talking like they independent, but really they homies be taking percentage. I just been leveling up when I do what I do, like I'm Papa, I'm getting the spinach. Bet you can notice the way I've been working 120, ignoring the limits. You can forget it, you ain't gon' take it from me, I'ma hold this shit right till I die. Ain't no seeing, believing, I ball every season, but truly this shit been a ride. I had to get through the rain and feel all the pain, but lately I'm ready to shine. Remember I had to stay patient when they was debating, but now they be steady in line. Laughing way back on the low, they wanna talk to me. Keep me right down to the flow, but now they wanna follow me. Look, I've been on top, I can't be stopped. There ain't no stop.
What's going on? My name is Cliff Notes P, and yes, I am back here at the Cliff Notes Project Studios, and I have another guest. More information, more notes to share. But you guys know how I do, or I don't do it. I'm gonna let this guy introduce himself. What's your name, sir?
What's going on, family? I'm CJ. I go by Rich Off Credit, and I'm here at Cliff Notes Project Studios, and these are my notes.
Okay, first take. Okay, I ain't mad at that. He might have been practicing before, but it's irrelevant. It doesn't matter because this is first take. But listen, man, what is the name of that company again, sir?
Rich Off Credit. So my IG name, my social media handles is Rich Off Credit.
Okay.
And the reason why I labeled myself that is because I teach 9-to-5ers and aspiring entrepreneurs how to get rich off credit by leveraging the secrets that the banks and the credit bureaus don't want them to know.
Okay, so I did do a little bit of research, but first and foremost, I want to tell the people, subscribe, hit that like button and share. Most importantly, share this material. It's not just for me, but it's basically for others. He's going to give you some gems. I'm pretty sure you guys have heard a lot of these gems on Instagram, but trust me, I have my notes, so I'm going to test them out to make sure. Hit that like button, follow, subscribe, and all that good stuff. Yeah. All right, so COVID hits. A lot of people have been coming out with this, hey, you need a new business, 9-to-5's not much, or your 9-to-5 is gone. You can get your credit. You can get this. You can get that. What differentiates you from other people, sir?
You know, it's funny that you asked that. So COVID did hit, and that's actually when I took my first mentorship, right? Okay. But I started my business in September of 2019. And the reason why I did that is because I purchased a property right here in the city. Okay. Right? And I actually saved my grandmother and my uncle from going homeless.
Oh, shit.
So
okay.
while I was doing that, they was actually scammed out of their property. I had to put some money up, but thank God I had the credit to do it.
Okay.
However, with all of that transpiring, I actually went underneath. I messed my credit up. I was struggling. I wasn't able to afford the payments.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, I got to figure out another hustle.
Okay.
So I'm at my job, which was, Brookline High School at that point in time. And I'm up here Googling what is the most ways or what is the best way to make some money with a little overhead. So I came across a couple of different businesses. They had like landscaping, credit repair, IT, a whole bunch of other stuff. But credit repair really caught my interest because I knew the good that credit could do. I just didn't know the scope of it.
Okay.
Right. So I actually took my first mentorship. Shout out to him, 500. And then I just fully indulged in the process. Okay. Now, something that separates me, what a lot of people don't know, is before I even got into all of this, I actually got a master's degree in psychology.
Oh, shit. Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So
that's a different route.
Yeah. It's a very different route. So prior to me working at Brookline High School as an advisor, I was actually a therapist. Okay. So I did in-home therapy. I did outpatient therapy. I did therapeutic mentoring, right? So my goal was always to give back to the community, help people change their trajectory, and just try to kind of find themselves and become whole. Okay. Now, on this journey, what happened was I'm like, all right, cool. I love money. I need extra money. Right. You know what I'm saying? But if I get in credit repair, I can now teach people how to become financially literate. Okay. I can also add that factor of really helping them and assisting them change their trajectory, not only for themselves, but of their family. So you add a piece of therapy in it, right? So a lot of people don't really think about it. You know, if you take the time, is that like when it comes to poverty, it's tied to mental health.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
especially for us.
A lot of people look like us, right? They get PTSD. They go out here, they risk their lives, they risk their freedom for some money and all the rest of that. But that's because where they come from and they struggle. Yeah. So if I can help close that gap, and put them on game and show them how to, purchase properties or how to fix their credit, and people really brag about like, look, all I need is 100,000. I don't know how long it's going to take you to make 100,000 in the streets, but I could teach you how to get 100,000 in 5 minutes. Okay. You know
Now, let me back you up real quick. We have this little thing called the Wayback Machine. It's a time machine. You ever watch Back in the Future?
Bits and pieces of it.
But you know the okay, so the concept, we're going to go back.
Okay.
So it looks like you were given this knowledge, or you've obtained this knowledge because of something negative that affected your life.
Absolutely.
Do you think if that didn't take place that you would have been searching for this?
No.
Okay.
So prior to me purchasing that property and really going under, I had dreams of opening up like an adult daycare for like autistic kids.
Oh wow. Okay.
Adults, you know,
that's
what I'm
major.
saying? Both. So like, there's a lot of people in that field. I notice a lot of parents, they go out of work or they actually struggle because they have a hard time finding the resources to care for their kids.
That's an awesome point.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So my idea was to create like a daycare initially where they'll be able to drop their kids off and they'll still be able to go out and make a living for themselves and for their family.
Okay.
So that was the route that I was initially going down.
Got it.
Now, when I happened to stumble across, buying the property, and then I went underneath and I messed my credit up, I understood that there was a whole nother trajectory that I could go down to really help my community.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying?
All right.
So the same thing, but it's like if you make a substantial amount of money, you can actually pay for those services and those resources, but not only just for right now, for longevity.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So my thing is like building legacy.
Is your revenue stuck? If you're an entrepreneur and your revenue is stuck, you don't need to fix your products or services. You need new audiences to discover you more consistently. Podcast guesting is the ideal way to be discovered 24 hours a day by your ideal clients. And guess what? The more people that know you, the more people can flow you. Head over to podcastmasterypack.com and take advantage of your first or next podcast. Let's go.
So you actually had the provider soul, and as a provider, my father's a physician, and I'm saying like you kind of, and that's why I wanted to go back in that Wayback Machine to kind of just gauge and see like where did this come from? Because a lot of people, believe it or not, gets this kind of information, and they're just coming up, and it's all about money, which is great. But it looked like obviously you've attained this knowledge, you've applied it to your family just to save the home and keep it moving, and now you're passing this information out. Now, another thing which I really love hearing, or what I just heard, is that you said you messed up your credit. Because I'll give you an example. One day I'm watching Gillian Wallow. They got a couple people like yourselves. They come in and all of that, and they're like, hey, you could do this 5 minutes. Boom, 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 boom. But none of them really say, hey, my credit was jacked up and I'm living proof. So this is different to me. And this is something that to me speaks volume because it's true experience, as opposed to I read this, you can do this, this will happen. Do you have anybody that you kind of have to pull that card out to say, nah, my business is real, like this can really happen, look at my personal story?
Yeah, there's a bunch of people who can actually, I could call them, they can vouch for me, they can say, yeah, he fixed my credit, yeah, he got my inquiries moved, yeah, he put me in position to go buy a house. Even if you go to my social media, Rich Off Credit, I got testimonials of people saying I put them in position to buy houses, right? So you'll be able to see that I'm not frauding, right? Like there's actual testimonials of validity to the story that I'm giving you.
Dope.
So I didn't just help myself, but I helped hundreds of other people do the same exact thing.
Okay. So you sound extremely educated.
Yeah.
Well-spoken.
Yeah.
So it doesn't sound like this was just a quick hustle.
No.
So it just makes it that more genuine. So providing this education to empower people of color or people in general, but it's good to obviously help ourselves or our people because that's how other cultures and races have done. What do you think will be the ultimate goal for your personal business? Because obviously you're going to get the business. As long as it works, you're going to get the business. It's going to happen. But after that, what's your ultimate goal for your business? Or is it something that you want to go back and look at that daycare will say for the autistic children that you want to apply? Maybe you purchase a building and say, hey, listen, man, I got all this credit. I'm able to do it. And now I want to actually flip it and make it something else.
You know what, Cliff? I love that you asked that, right? My ultimate goal, my biggest dream is to open up a school.
Wow.
For people who look like us.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And the reason why I say that is because a lot of people don't understand the magnitude of credit. We think about it from a very surface level, right? Okay, it helps with buying a house. It helps with buying a car, getting an apartment, interest, and all the rest of that, right? What a lot of people don't understand is that it also has an impact on where you reside, where you rest your head at, the school districts of which your kids go to.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so,
redlining.
Where we come from, there's a lot of nonsense that happens around here. Right. Like kids got to go through metal detectors.
Right.
Kids got to come out of their school and they see needles on the floor. Or there's shootouts right outside the schools. Right.
Okay.
So I want to create an environment where kids don't have to deal with that.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? You think about a lot of teachers are culturally incompetent. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And they're actually tired. Right. So they deal with certain behaviors and they're not competent enough to handle those kids or those behaviors. So they're just there for a check.
Right.
I don't want my kids or people who look like us to deal with that. So I want to build a school where they get a different type of education, where it allows them to be highly successful, not just in the school, but post high school.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So that's my ultimate dream, is just to backdoor the system and just come up with something for ourselves, for our own, that'll allow them to be successful in whatever it is that they desire.
Nah, man, that's a beautiful thing. Do you have any children yourself?
I got 2 boys, man.
Okay, how old?
I got my son just turned 3 on the 29th of September.
Okay.
And then my second son, he just turned 7 months. On the 28th. So he was born February 28th.
Okay, man, listen. So, ladies and gentlemen, I just verified we got an official brother. So now I'm really going to deep dive because I know a little bit about credit too. I know a little bit because I used to flip houses back in the day. I also understand how banks used to or work. And I also understand predatory lending. So now, let's say, for example, you have somebody, this is what I used to tell everyone, and feel free to borrow these notes, right? Someone that doesn't have a lot of money, they're not making that much money. They're like, hey, you know what? I can bring a friend, a family to help out with the mortgage. First thing I tell them is don't do that. I immediately suggest that they purchase a 3-family house. Then they're like, oh, you're kind of hating on me because, oh, I can't get a single family. No. The reason is I believe the bank, correct me if I'm wrong, is 70-75% of rental roll that they can make it as part of your income to then qualify you to purchase said house. And then here's the other trick. You can actually get your first time home owner at, what is it, 3.25 or whatever it is. Okay. But guess what, ladies and gentlemen? Yes, it is your first time purchasing your home. But if you go from a 3-family to a single family, they consider that an upgrade. And guess what? You can do that again. Are you sharing that type of knowledge as well?
Yeah. So one thing that we talk about, and I share this with a lot of the younger cats that I deal with and interact with, is like, I tell anybody, start with a 4.
Yeah.
Right? Like if your finances permit you, start with a 4, and you could do what's called house hacking. Okay. Right?
Explain that a little bit.
So you could do a FHA with a 4-family, right?
Okay.
So anything over a 4-family is considered commercial real estate, right? So 4 and under is considered residential.
Okay.
So you could do a 4-family.
Max it out.
Yes. And you could do an FHA, right? And they will allow you to go down 4, 3, 2, 1 with up to like 5%.
Okay.
Right? But if you would have happened in reverse, you start at 1, anything else after that is considered an investment property, and they're going to be looking at 15 to 20% as a down payment.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So I always teach people through the 4, 3, 2, 1 method, so that way you can always get away with a 3.5 to a 5% down payment.
Okay.
You know
Now that's a beautiful thing. Now, do you get a lot of people, especially our people, that want to resist that they're like, come on, man, I'm trying to get away from the rental scene? Like I'm telling you, one of the biggest blessings I have, me and my wife, we were having a little one, and actually we were on a second one, and then the rent got increased. It was we had 3 beds, 2 baths. It was $1,350. I was like, man, I ain't going nowhere. This is all right. And this is from me having houses before. I used to flip condos and having to sell those out, short sale. But I was comfortable. I got complacent, you know what I'm saying? But then I was like, the rent increase said, all right, I need to get the hell out of here. Yeah. But are you finding a lot of people thinking like, you're kind of hating on them for giving them that idea? Because I know every time I've said it, one of my really good friends said to me, what do you think? Like, I'm not good enough to get a single family? I'm like, nah, let's check our egos at the door. It ain't that. It's just that your situation that you've explained to me. Like, how do you combat that?
I chalk it up as they're not privy to the information. You know what I'm saying? So like one thing that I've noticed from indulging in, a plethora of conversations is that it sounds like a foreign language. Right? Like America, you got the American dream. You get a 1 family, the dog, the house, the yard, whatever. And that's what a lot of people get hell bent on. But what a lot of people don't understand is even if you go to a 3 family, that's another source of income.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So a lot of people are not thinking about it in that context. I tell people, have another source of income. My property alone pays me $50,000 a year.
That's dope.
Right? You get what I'm saying? So it's like, why work to live?
Yeah.
Because that's what you're going to do, whether it's an apartment, whether it's a condo, whether it's a one family. I always paint a picture of you're going to have to work the rest of your life in order for you to live and afford your mortgage.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? But if you go and get a 4-family or a 3-family, not only will those rents cover your mortgage, you'll also be able to walk away with $1,000 or $2,000 every single month.
Yep.
So do you want more money or you don't?
I hear you.
That's how I paint that picture.
I also tell them too, hey, listen, take that money. That's not spending your money. You might want to just put that escrow, a little reserve, because bad things happen to houses, especially when you rent them.
Yeah.
The roof can go, electricity, and they're not waiting for you to fix it. You got to fix it ASAP because that's a customer. That's a dope thing, man.
So you know what else I tell them? I'm glad you say, tell them to put the money aside, because I teach them about how the equity works, right?
Okay.
How much, the house is worth in comparison to how much you own one, you take the difference as the equity. But we also talk about operating as an investor opposed to a consumer. You get what I'm
Get
saying?
a little deeper than that.
So as a consumer, you're programmed to just spend money.
Correct.
Spend money with no return, right? Now as an investor, I'm not telling you not to get the finer things in life, but make sure that all of your assets are able to cover it. So if you want the fly car, right? There's nothing wrong with you having the fly car, but make sure that that property covers that fly car, or that business covers that fly car, right? So I know a lot of people who went and I'll be honest, my stepfather, right? He went and purchased a car when he should have bought the house. And by him purchasing the car, he messed his debt to income ratio. And then he wasn't even in position to buy the house anymore.
Okay.
And then long story short, his back ended up getting messed up.
Oof.
So he wasn't really he wasn't
trickle
able to,
down effect, man.
You get what I'm saying? But if he would have did it vice versa, he would have had the income to buy the car, pay for the car, right? Been good, and then also had income. So now that his back is messed up, he still would have been making
some money coming
every
in
single month, every single year.
Yeah.
And in addition to that, he would have had equity. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then the goal after that is, take out a HELOC and use it for additional investments. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I say we want to be investors opposed to consumers.
Okay. Now you would tell someone to do the HELOC as opposed to taking and for those that don't understand, definition of HELOC, please, real quick.
So the HELOC is the home equity line of credit.
Okay. So we have a mortgage. Let's say we purchased a house, say $450.
Yep.
Equity's $550. So in theory, it's now $100,000, ladies and gentlemen. The bank ain't giving you all that. All right. So let's just say my math ain't great. The 10 is 500. Let's just say 80,000 that we want to touch. Okay.
80% of it.
All right. So you get that. Now, do you think it's better to get a HELOC as opposed to taking it out and just add and compounding it to your mortgage?
Yes. So I think what you're referring to is a HELOC or a cash out refi, right?
Yes, sir.
So a lot of people have their preferences. Now, when it comes to mine, I say HELOC because when you do a cash out refi, right? So let's say the property was $550. You know what I'm saying? And you owe $450. You take out an extra that $80,000. They're gonna add that $80,000 to that $550. Right, so now you're at $630,000.
Yep.
So now your mortgage or your payment is going to be to cover $630,000.
Correct.
Right. Now with a HELOC, what's going to happen is now you have $80,000 available to you, but you only pay on what you use. So I'm a fan of a HELOC because one, it's like a revolving door.
Right.
You can use it up, you can pay it back down, and it's still accessible to you. Right. And you only pay on what you use. But the cash out refi, you're gonna have to pay on that money right away, immediately, every single month for the next whatever the term is.
And also let the people know when you do that, you probably won't get the same rate that you have. Like right now, I'm at a 3.25. I ain't going nowhere.
Right.
I like this.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But also, let's tell the people though, HELOCs, if I'm mistaken, are variable interest rates. Is that correct?
Yeah.
If you want to explain that to the people, in case they might
so
not know.
What's gonna happen is like for my HELOC, right? So I took out a HELOC of $150,000.
Okay.
I think it was for the first 4 years. The way that we dressed it up, it's like interest free. But after that 4 years, that APR is going to fluctuate. Like it could shoot through the roof.
Yeah.
So while I might be right in a place right now where I might pay 400, 500. After that time surpasses, I could be at 1,000, 1,500, which is a whole nother mortgage.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
So the reason why I say we want to be investors and not consumers, so you got to have a plan with the money.
Bingo, right? And that's where I wanted to bring you. You went there,
with the money.
It's
so
not buying a car.
Nah, hell
yeah,
no.
okay,
nah, hell
all
no.
right.
I don't just take the money to go in and invest it on erroneous things that's not going to give me any type of return on my investment or that doesn't give value or add value.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? So before I do anything, it has to be calculated. You have to have a plan. Okay, cool. Before I get this money, this is what I got set up. I'm doing the numbers. This is what I'm expected to make for my return.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, okay.
So that's how I operate, and that's how I encourage other people that I come in contact with to operate as well.
All right, so now we're educating people. We've empowered them. You got a lot of people saying, all right, you got some, we have a basket. Some people have good credit. Some people have bad credit. Now you got this master class. They're following you. They're like, all right, I got a house. I got the equity. Hey, listen, man, I got 100,000 and then I want to do something with it. Do you provide any courses as to, hey, there's different avenues of how to make money? You know, maybe you might want to get a laundromat, or maybe you might want to get, I know it was on Instagram, I don't know why, but these ATMs, everyone's trying to do that, you know what I mean, which it's going away, ladies and gentlemen. That's going away. So don't do that shit. Yeah. You know what I mean? Do you have like master classes, or do you provide education on different forms of investments that people can do?
Yeah, so we just actually had like a little challenge that we ended up scrapping for, other reasons. However, I am going to be coming to, social media and other people's with an opportunity for them to invest, to learn different assets for them to park their money in, right?
Nice.
So, for example, like I started a luxury rental car business.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So I have a fleet of 5 cars, but I did it all off of credit, no money out of pocket. But we're teaching people how to, if you do want to spend your money, park it in vehicles that's going to generate that income, right? So that's one thing. I got a buddy of mine who's out in Western Mass, my best friend. He's actually in real estate, right? So in regards to what I do with my money, I'm actually about to partner with him. While he does this thing out there, I'm going to come to the table. Look, I got X amount of dollars. I need you to go and do what you do.
And this is the return that you're looking for.
This is the return that I'm looking for. Right? So we're working on residential units. But next year we plan on getting into commercials. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's where you said Worcester, right?
Springfield. He's actually in Springfield.
Okay. All right. I'm not too familiar with that market, but the Worcester market was definitely growing. A lot of things going on over there. I'm a videographer, and I was covering Benny the Butcher, and they did something, and the change there, it was unreal. I was like, where am I? I really thought I was like lost, bro.
Listen, I'm gonna tell you right now, this is back in 2015. Back in 2015, this is when I first got into this space, right? Like we were looking at we were going to real estate meetups and real estate presentations and all the rest of that, and that's how my right hand and I really got into this space. But we were looking at properties out there on Zillow, right? And so anybody who doesn't know, everything on Zillow, that's market value, right? Like you're gonna pay top dollar for that. We seen properties for $5,000
out there
in Springfield.
I seen $5,000 in Buffalo.
Listen, I swear to God, my right hand, my best friend, he can attest to this. We were looking at properties in Springfield on the MLS.
Wow.
For $5,000.
Were they just a bone? It was just a foundation.
I would take it all day.
If I knew what you now, then, especially the cost of material.
I would have borrowed $500 from 15 people. I don't care. I would have figured it out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because now you ain't finding nothing less than $120,000.
Do you think that game is washed out now?
Well, the real estate game?
Yeah.
No, you just the game's not washed out. It's not watered down. You just have to become a master at finding deals, bro. Yeah. This is like anything, right? So if you're somebody who just dabbles in things, it's not for you. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because
I'm glad you said that.
That real estate game, and that's the reason why I got into it, but I kind of took a step back because I realized how much time, effort, and energy that it took, right? This is not one of those things where you get to pick up the phone, once a week. No, you have to be consistent. You got to be obsessed with the process. That's the only way for you to actually get the deals, right? So it's not watered down. There's a lot of people doing it, but only the real are going to prevail.
Yeah, because I was really into the game. I was into the game where I bought, and I'm saying 2006, bought a triple decker. Paid, it was bone $500,000. Overpaid a little bit, but this was the condo times, and through whatever money it was, it condoed each floors, and we sold it. Did well, and I remember keeping them, and I got greedy. I remember one of my units, I was like, they were offering me like $350. I was like, nah, I need $395. It's coming, and then the bubble came, and woo, it was ugly. But fortunately for me, like I'm a hustler. Like I know how to do some carpentry. I know how to do some plumbing, especially now where it's easier, where you can get like these like shark bites or things that they call. Now you don't have to solder things. It's making things like plug and play, which is why I think it's a little bit dangerous with these shows that you got out here. You know what I mean? But are you finding anyone that you've worked with in trouble because they're like, man, you taught me all this stuff. I went out, bought a crib, invested. I saw something on TV, decided I'm gonna do this by themselves, and now they're stuck.
Honestly, for myself, no, because I'm a realist, right? Like I think what a lot of people have noticed, and from conversation that I've had with people, they feel like this is just somebody else selling me some game. Right. Somebody else is trying to get my money, right? I don't sell hope.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And that's I'm gonna be real with you. That's one of the reasons why I struggle in my business, because I'm not a salesperson.
Yeah.
I hate selling to you.
But that's all right, because I think in the long run, bro, it's going to pay, because there's a lot of people, man, they will sell glasses to a blind.
Yeah, so they sell hope, right? Yeah. Like, in the streets, they sell dope. They get you, stuck on that.
Yep.
But in this game, they sell hope. Yeah. Which is almost equivalent, right? Because this will still leave you, assed out.
Assed out,
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, they're going to sell you hope. They're going to get your last dollar, and you're going to hit rock bottom because you over leveraged yourself.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So what I do with people is I give them reality. Like, nah, you need to have reserves. Yeah. If you can't do that 2 to 3 times, you don't need to do it at all.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's a good point.
This is not worth it.
That's
especially if you got family and you got wife and kids to take care of. It's not worth it. Go back to the drawing board, see how you could generate some more income. And then make that move.
That's awesome, man. Little story for me. So before really getting into flipping the houses, I remember I used to work out in Rhode Island. I got laid off. It was a survey company. I went back home. I was like, shit, no girlfriend and place to hang out. So I went home. And while I was going home, I met up with some people, and they're like, yo, why don't you just do be a loan officer? I was like, all right, got my business cards. I'm giving them out. I found out quickly, man, nobody want to let you just deal with their financial stuff or really get you involved. But I remember sitting in, I got like 3 in my pipeline. I'm just waiting, and I'm just like, it's like 1,500. If I'm just like, yo, come on, it's going to work. You know what I'm saying? But one of my really good friends, and this is when, like I said, the banks just let anybody have money. He's like, yo, I got equity. He wanted to use it. The bank was letting him take out 95%. I said, I'm not doing it. Yeah. I told him I can't do the loan. He was like, why? And I'm like, I can't do that, bro, because you're like a real best friend of mine. And I would hate to know that I was responsible in helping you bury yourself. You know what I'm saying? So he ended up going with somebody else, and that ended up happening to him. Anyways, and these were the times when they had 2 mortgages, bro. I don't know if you played that game. 21% on the second Joan, which was crazy. It was almost higher than the first. Yeah. So my thing is, you got a lot of people messed up credit. What are your tricks in helping them out? Are they still selling trade lines? Is that still a thing?
Yeah. It's funny that you asked that, right? So don't do trade lines, at least not right away, right? So what's going to happen is as you put in applications and things like that, it's going to go through the underwriting system, right? And the underwriters are going to be able to analyze your credit report top to bottom. And there's going to be a label next to that account that says authorized user. You know what I'm saying? So they're going to know that this account is not yours. Yeah. You're just somebody who's authorized to use it. Okay. So do not purchase trade lines without doing your due diligence. The real reason why you want to get a trade line is to maybe add some age to your credit or to lower your debt utilization.
Got it.
Outside of that, you really don't want to add add trade lines anymore. It doesn't hold the same weight that it used to.
All right, let's break it down just a little more. I understand what you're saying. Let's break it down for the people. So what you're saying is, I'm going to just throw my scenario. My credit's not really up to par. It's a little young. Maybe I got like 5 years credit, but my debt to income, meaning the amount of money that I bring home, say I'm making $70,000 and all the debt from the new car, the house, and whatever else it is that I'm paying, credit cards, exactly. It's just off. It's just off. So you look as if you're a risk to these underwriters. So explain how this trade line would help them.
So essentially, if you, when we're talking about credit card debt, when we're referring to a trade line, right? So this is not applicable to school loans. This is not applicable to your mortgage. This is not applicable to your car loan, right? This is strictly for credit cards. So the trade line, what it's going to do is, let's say you got $50,000 worth of credit, right? But you're utilizing 40 grand of it, right? So you're almost maxed out.
Right.
Now, if you add somebody else who has a $50,000 trade line, what's going to happen is now on your credit report, it's going to look like you have $100,000 available to you, right? And if you're still utilizing that 40 grand, now you're utilizing 40 grand out of 100 grand, opposed to 40 grand out of 50 grand.
Great explanation.
That's what I mean by lower your debt utilization.
Beautiful explanation.
And then when we talk about, the age, 5 years is actually really good.
Okay.
So from like a funding standpoint where, we help people get capital, we actually strive to look for 5 years of age.
Really?
Yes. Okay. That's actually ideal. What you really want to do, you don't want to be at 1 year, 2 years, or 3 years. Anything under 3 years, you would want to add a trade line depending on if you're trying to make any moves.
Okay.
Right? So I want to be very intentional about that. When it comes to getting a trade line, you only utilize the trade line when you are trying to make a move, when you are trying to invest. If you're just getting a trade line for the sole purpose of boosting your credit, you're wasting your money.
Okay. Do you work with companies that sell these trade lines? Because I've noticed that. And to me, I remember, like, again, this is old school. I only was able to find and utilize like that trade line because there was a relationship there. Now it looks as if people legitimately have a slew. I went on a website and it was just like how much you need, what you want, this is how old it is. And I was like, this is bananas.
Yeah.
And these credit so the bureaus know, obviously.
So it's not necessarily the bureaus. So the bureaus are good. It's the banks.
Really?
Yeah. So once you so let's say, me and you, right? You need a trade line. You're like, hey, CJ, I need a trade line.
Yep.
I'm like, all right, how much do you need in regards to the limit? What's the years?
Got it.
All right, I need $20,000 for 10 years. All right, cool. I call my credit card company. Hey, I want to put a family member by the name of Cliff on it. So they put you on my credit card. Now my credit card is going to populate on your credit report. The bureaus don't care about it. Okay. Right. It's the banks. So now let's say you're like, all right, I need that trade line in order for me to go and get $100,000 in capital. The banks are going to look at your credit profile and they're going to see that $20,000 in that 10-year age credit card I just put on your credit profile. And if everything else does not match to it, they're not going to do business with you.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
All right. So then if that's the case, give me an explanation or a scenario where, it would actually make sense to do something like this. Because if that, you're telling me, all right, don't worry, we can fix your credit. You need to do this, but we can get you debt income ratio fixed. We can do this. But now you're telling me, but if I go to the bank, they're seeing me, then I feel lost again.
I'm glad that you say that. So there's something called, when it comes to underwriting at the banks, right? There are specific data points that underwriters are looking for.
Okay.
Right. So an ideal credit report. So when, before I get into it, like if you heard anybody brag and boast, I got a 750 credit score, a 720 credit score, I would tell you who cares.
Really?
Yes, it doesn't matter.
Wow.
Right. And the reason why it doesn't matter is because you could have a 750 or a 720, and if you only got 2 accounts on your credit profile, those 2 accounts and that 720 or 750 does not equate to buying power. You know what I'm saying?
I see what you're saying.
So when we're talking about credit, we don't just boast and brag about credit just to have it. Like, we don't want something that just looks pretty. We use credit as an investor. We want to go out and obtain assets that's going to take care of us and our family.
Interesting.
You know what I'm saying?
Got it.
So when I'm talking about data points, you need to have 10 accounts on your credit profile. And when I say accounts, I mean primary accounts, right? Accounts that are directly tied to your social security number, not trade lines, right? You want to have an average of 5 years age behind it, right? You want to have 3 inquiries or less. You don't want any derogatories, like no late payments, no charge-offs, no collections. And that will essentially put you in position to go out and leverage your credit profile.
Got it.
Like that's your ideal credit profile. You know what I'm saying? And if you're looking to acquire, you know, $50,000 to $250,000 in capital, you want to make sure that you have at least one high credit reporting card. Okay. You know what I'm saying? So something that's like $5,000 or above.
Got it. Okay.
Now, and let's say you have an underdeveloped credit profile, right? What I would do is I would say, okay, cool, let's build out your credit profile. Let's get you the primary accounts. Now, what's going to happen in that process is that you're going to have a very thin age because the accounts are so new.
So new, yeah.
Now, that's when the trade line comes into place.
So now you come in and you bought history.
You bought history.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's when those type of trade lines will come into place.
All right, so that's a beautiful thing, but I got some friends. They got some dirty credit. Just wasn't making some good decisions, fell on hard times. They're just like, yo, derogatory things, but they got a really good job. They're just trying to move forward, trying to get things going. What do you suggest?
So the first thing that I encourage people to do is learn how to read your credit report, right? Okay. It seems like a foreign language if you're just now getting into it. So I tell people to go to a website called Identity IQ. Okay. Right? It's a credit monitoring company. Now, the reason why I say Identity IQ is because unlike Credit Karma, unlike Experian, it actually lays out all 3 credit reports side by side.
Really?
Yes, side by side.
So is this part of the credit bureau? Because I know you can get the credit report at least once a year, right?
Yes, once a year for free. Okay. No, this is something completely separate. So you can actually go to TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian. You can order your report. You get 1 free credit report every single year. Okay. Right? You can also go to annualcreditreport.com to get your free credit report. Dope. What I'm referring to is $25. Okay. Right? And the reason why I like it is, as I say, because it allows you to compare and contrast. So it's actually digestible and it's easier on the eyes for the person reading their credit report. Got it. And the reason why I say that is because you actually want to make sure when you're reading your credit report, you want to go item line by item line, right? So literally line by line by line. And the reason why you want to do that is because by law, everything on your credit report is supposed to be 100% accurate, consistent, complete, and verifiable. If not, that's when you can dispute. There you go. Okay. So even if, right, and this is where, you know, some people are like, but I did it. It's okay that you did it. Okay. So even if you were actually late, even if that charge-off is you're actually responsible for it, it does not change the laws that are put in place to protect consumers. Okay. You know what I'm saying? The proof of burden is on their part. Always on the credit bureaus. Is it still 30 days for them to do that? 30 to 45 days. They have, so once you send out your initial dispute, they have 30 to 45 days to respond. Okay. Right? Now, this is where it gets good. So let's say you send out your dispute. This is a quick gem. Let's say you send out your dispute. Everybody should always send out their disputes via certified mail with the return receipt. So you know exactly when the countdown is. So they can't say, oh, I didn't get it. Got it. They can't say it was delivered to the wrong address. I know who got it, and I know who signed for it. Got it. Okay. And now you got 30 to 45 days to respond. Now, this is a quick gem. So sometimes you send out your disputes, and they actually don't respond, or if they do respond, there's actually supposed to make a notation in your credit report. Really? Yes. So if you dispute an account, they're supposed to notate that dispute in your credit report. If they don't notate it, that's grounds for a removal. They actually violated your rights as a consumer. Really? So, yeah, so that's 15 USC 1681 S2. So how do you verify if they did or didn't notate your account? That's what the IQ. The Identity IQ. So you go to Identity IQ, and when you're going through item line by item line, there's going to be a section that says comments. Okay. In that comment section, if there's no notation of them tracking your dispute or notating your dispute, it's a violation. Really? And then there's a process, I'm assuming, of going through to get that wiped out. Yep. Wow, that's pretty cool. So what you could do is so like you would take a a snapshot of the return receipt. You would take a snapshot of your credit report. Yep. Right. And then what you could do is, so that next round, you're actually going to send in a complaint to the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, who's essentially, I like to call them the police for the credit bureaus.
Really?
Right? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so they're the police for the credit bureaus.
Okay.
So you're going to let them know, hey, TransUnion, Equifax, Experian, they're violating my rights as a consumer.
Wow.
Here's the proof of the letter I sent with the return receipt, and here's the proof of them failing to do their due diligence. I'm a victim of their malpractice.
Wow. Now, how often are you able to do this? Like, let's say you have 5 to 7 accounts, and then you just like, hey, man, out of these 10, 7 of these are violating my rights, as you're saying. Are they going to say, all right, dude, you're just one of those guys? Or are they actually going to fight for you to get it removed?
Both, right? Like, you could be one of those guys, but it doesn't change the law.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
That's good to hear.
Yeah, I'm one of those guys.
Okay.
I'm one of those guys who are going to hold you accountable for your malpractice.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
That's
So
dope.
by all means, I'll be that guy.
Wow.
They are going to give you some pushback, but that's when you know the different tactics and the different officials to hold them accountable.
Okay.
So we talk about the CFPB, also known as the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, right? You got the Federal Trade Commission, which we refer to as the FTC. We even file complaints with the Better Business Bureau.
Wow.
And if they're really not complying, we'll get the Attorney General involved.
Okay. Wow. Okay. So now it sounds like your company does all these things. There's a similar company. We'll just say Lexington. I won't finish the rest. So some people can go just to you.
Yep.
Now, obviously there's different price points. Are there different packages that you offer? And what does the first one start off with to the highest package?
So it's really contingent off of the person's credit profile, right?
Okay.
So I do 3 different price packages.
Okay.
I got the silver package, which is $550. That's if you have 3 accounts or less.
Got it.
I got the gold package, which is $1,000, is which you have anything over 3 accounts. And then I got the platinum package, which is $1,500, and that's if you're dealing with child support, bankruptcies.
Wow, child supports as well.
Yeah, we get it all removed.
Okay.
Yeah. Child support, bankruptcies, foreclosures, repossessions, any type of major judgments or liens it is that you're dealing with, we get those removed.
Wow. Now, are you working with any law firms or anything, or this is just knowledge that you've obtained and you're like, this is good. You guys can do it yourselves.
Nah, I've spent probably almost about $100,000 in education.
Wow.
Outside of college and secondary education pertaining to this craft, when it comes to credit repair and creative financing, I spent probably close to $100,000 obtaining this information.
Okay, all right. So it's certified.
Yeah, absolutely.
Man, that's a beautiful thing. So I'll say this. A lot of the examples that you're giving me tonight makes me feel like, okay, it's not what I was seeing. Respect to Gillian Waller, but what other people are saying, it just felt real salesy, pitchy. You know what I mean? And I'm just like, they're just making it sound too easy, where you're telling me up front, hey, there's some challenges that unfortunately you are going to have to deal with, ladies and gentlemen. This is not just a magic wand, but if that's the case, everyone would do it. But at least I appreciate, the transparency in what your business cannot do. Now, are there cases where you're just like, hey, listen, you need to do this. I'll see you in 3 years, 5 years, and then we can work on it?
Yeah, there's been so I tell people right now, right? Like, if you're looking for overnight success, I'm not him.
Good.
I'm not comfortable taking your money if you're looking for a 30, 60, 90-day turnaround.
Okay.
That's not me. Well, this person and that, I get it, and you should probably work with them.
Yeah.
I can't do that. You know what I'm saying? So I tell my clients the process is anywhere between 6 months to a year.
That's fine.
Right? Just to be transparent with you.
Yeah.
If you're not comfortable doing that, I get it.
Yeah.
I'll be here if you ever feel like you want to come back.
Come back. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
The comeback is always the best, man.
I don't, I suck at sales.
Yeah.
I'm not a salesman. But I tell anybody, you'll come back if and when you're ready.
Right.
And ultimately, you're only prolonging your success and your life.
What about couples?
What about
How do you charge?
So I'll give them one will be full package and the second one will be half off.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So let's say, they both are at a gold package. Instead of charging them $2,000, it might be like $1,400.
Okay. All right. Now that's good savings. That's actually that's a lot of savings.
Yeah,
that's a lot of savings. You know what I mean? So now that's pretty cool, man. So again, you're doing all of this. How many employees or people do you have working for you?
Right now I have 3. I have 3 people underneath me. We got a team. There's 4 of us. They handle most of the day-to-day actions.
Okay.
I oversee them, make sure that they're on point. They're taking care of their business. They're responding to clients.
Okay.
And if I need to step in, I do.
Okay.
Right. We have bi-weekly meetings just to make sure that everybody's on the same page. They know what they're doing. Okay. Everybody's on the same SOPs. Like, everything's smooth.
Okay. Now, that's really dope. Now, is this something that this knowledge that you've, because you said you went for, was it psychology in school?
Psychology.
So this is just really just off of like your trials and tribulation and family that all this has just happened. How long did this take for all this to come to fruition?
Whew. So I started in September of 2019. I remember going to
City
Hall. Yeah, City Hall, filing the paperwork, right? I kind of dragged my feet because I didn't want to jump into this game prematurely, right? So then I got mentorship.
Okay.
And I did that in June of 2020, right? In the midst of the pandemic. I still dragged my feet a little bit. I was dibbling and dabbling, but I was really trying to acquire the information because I really didn't want to let people down.
Right.
So I would say November of 2021, I had success.
Okay.
But I really wanted to dial in
so
I could deliver the best experience.
Dope.
So December of 2021 is really when I hit the ground running with it.
Okay. Man, that's a success story in itself because I think, one, it feels as if like this is something you were supposed to do. Yeah. It doesn't feel as if like you're just like, yo, you can make some great money. Because we're all trying to make money. You know, I seen your car. That's a really dope car. I like that. So, but you're doing your shit and you're obviously working for it. And you're like letting people know, hey, this can be done. Absolutely. But you gotta do the work. So what I'd like to do, if possible, ladies and gentlemen, I'm asking this guy just off a whim. I don't even know if he could do this. Listen, if we can get the people and we'll come up with like a little tagline, my notes, and maybe they can get a little discount because I think it's dope. I'm going to share it. Obviously, you know, we have a friend that we have in common, our friend B. He'll have a nice little post that I actually just punch his stuff in because that's how we've met. But I think it'd be dope for me to get my subscribers, if they're interested in saying, hey, let me reach out here. Here's a little 5%. I put in that 5 notes. Is there a website that they can go to? What is the best way to reach you?
So they should go to
and you can shoot that thing right there.
They go to my social media handle, Instagram, preferably Instagram _Rich Off Credit, and shoot me a DM, right? So what I could do for you is I got ebooks, right? I got a do it yourself credit ebook. Okay. I will actually give you buy one get one free.
Really?
Right? Yeah. So I want you guys to DM me the word Credit Cliff.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Credit Cliff, and I will give you my do-it-yourself inquiry removal ebook and my do-it-yourself credit repair ebook. Okay. And I'll give you buy one get one free.
Now with the ebooks, is this something that is going to allow them to kind of just go? Or just to start, what is the ebook actually going to accomplish?
So the inquiry removal ebook is literally the correct verbiage and step-by-step process to get inquiries removed within 24 hours.
So you're just giving that up?
Yeah, just giving it out.
Oh,
just
wow.
Giving it out.
Okay.
Just giving it out. And then the credit repair ebook is actually a it gives you a whole breakdown of the credit game. Okay. Right? It gives you a breakdown of the credit game. It gives you all of the definitions, and it literally shows you kind of how to remove items off of your credit report. Yeah.
I don't want to tell anybody. You giving up too much game. Yeah, I mean, this dude's giving out too much game, man.
Well, that's what I'm here. I'm gonna be real, right? Like it's an Achilles heel, but that's what I love to do. That's why I took up psychology. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Because I thoroughly and genuinely enjoy giving back and seeing people win. It's an Achilles heel because I do give out too much. And sometimes I suffer from a financial standpoint, but it's not about the money. Yeah. It's about the impact.
That's dope.
You get what I'm saying?
Nah, that's dope.
So as long as I can contribute to people winning, I'm good. Okay. And I'm gonna be real, right? There's a lot of people, you'll read the ebook and you still might be like, what the hell did I just read?
Right. What I'm saying? So and then that's when on the package.
You get what I'm saying? Now you can come see me.
Because I was one of those guys. I'm not going to lie. Like, my man was telling me a lot of similar information. I knew some of the stuff. I went online. I did my due diligence. And I was just like, yeah, I kind of just want someone to do it for me. You know? And especially, like you said, I didn't know about the certified and return receipt like thing. I think that's fire. Yeah. I think that's another gem in itself, too. Are you providing or doing kind of like these big like like seminars where people can go and, conferences, or are you just more of the one 1v1 type of thing?
And back in 2000, it might have been 2019, I actually did a seminar.
Okay.
I did my partners and I, we did an event where we taught people about how to fix their own credit. I haven't done one since. I kind of been doing the one-on-one thing, but I'm now in a space in my life where it's like, I need to give back on a greater stage.
Okay.
So I actually do want to do seminars where I'm going to be teaching people how to fix their own credit. I'm going to be bringing people to teach them how to get invested in real estate. We'll be talking about how to park your money or your credit, better yet, in different vehicles to generate that income. Right.
Okay.
So what I like to tell people is, don't use your money.
Use other people's money to make money.
Other people's money, right?
Yeah.
Like remain liquid if you can, because tough times are gonna happen. It's inevitable.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? So if you use all of your money to for investments, and investments go bad and life happens, you're gonna be asked out.
You gotta pay.
You gotta pay regardless. So I tell people, use credit.
Yeah.
Your credit can always be fixed. And at least you'll always be liquid.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
true.
saying?
Yeah.
So we use other people's money to park it into assets that's going to generate us that money.
And just to give it the layman's term, for liquid people, we talking about cash.
Yes.
And now with the cash, back in my day, just to tell you how old I am, we used to get at least 2.5% on our savings account. Is there a place that you would suggest for people to put their cash in?
I love that you asked that. Yes. Life insurance.
Beautiful. Let's talk about life insurance, because a lot of people don't understand. And I hope you understand and know there's two types of life insurance, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
I did a podcast way back when, and I suggested that there's term and then there is whole life. Term is cool, but there's a purpose. And funny enough, I used to work for a company called New England Financial. They're located in downtown Boston. I don't even know if there's still a company anymore. But during training, they had us looking at dummy accounts. And then they, Oprah Winfrey was one of their clients or whatever. She had over 20. And I was like, why does she have 20 life insurances? She was I'm not going to say you're hiding money, Oprah. But it was a vehicle. Let's just say it was a vehicle. Because you can buy X amount of dollars, and then when you buy that, you could borrow that money. And if you die, the beneficiary gets less of what you purchased.
Yes.
So is that the route that you're suggesting people to use?
Yes. So I look at it from a few different perspectives, right? God forbid if your time were to come to your demise, right?
Right.
I hate the fact that the idea of leaving my death on a loved one. They already have to grieve, right? So now you're talking about grieving, then you talk about the financial burden. They're not even going to have the full opportunity to grieve,
right?
Because they have to cover that financial burden. That also creates issues within the family, right?
Yes, sir.
People fight,
because
things don't go down the way that they wanted to, or you can't get money. Now you start looking at people sideways. I've been through it. I just went through it a couple years ago with my cousin, so I know what it looks like. So that's one thing. And the other piece of it is like, it's the quickest way to build generational wealth, right?
That's right.
Like a lot of people don't understand that.
That's right.
It's the quickest way to build generational wealth. So if you go and get $1 million policy, and you could pass that on to your kids, your grandkids.
Look where they're starting off.
You hear what I'm saying? They don't have to start from ground zero or from a deficit.
Right.
They can start from up top.
Right.
Well off. Just make sure that you got, a living trust and all the rest of that, so you could paint the picture of how you wanted everything handled. Yeah. So for me, like, I got 2 life insurance policies. Both of my sons got 2 life insurance policies. Dope. My lady got a life insurance. Like, I made sure that everybody is good.
Yeah. And why do you think that? I feel like it's taboo amongst our people. Or is it ignorance and the lack of the education of how it's such a tool? You know what I mean? Like, a lot of people, what, you waiting on me to die? Nah, it ain't nothing like that. But at the end of the day, death and taxes, 2 things that are guaranteed. So you might as well take advantage, for lack of a better term, of that particular situation. Are you finding any people fighting back on that? Like, I don't like that feeling. Yeah.
Plenty. You want to know what it is? If I could be extremely transparent with you.
Yeah, let's do it.
life insurance is not sexy.
Not at all.
It's not sexy.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound good.
Right.
It's not appealing. You think about death, like who the hell? I don't want to talk about that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But if it's called life insurance.
Right.
Not death insurance.
Right.
Life
Let's cover that life.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? It is a tool of the wealthy. There's a reason why you see multimillionaires
Right.
that have $1 million life insurance policies. They
right.
have trust, right?
Right.
So if we can actually get out of our own way, get out of our own head, and remove the emotions from the situation and start studying the people that we actually look up to,
Right.
we would get a bunch of game of how this life shit is really supposed to be played out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So we look at people like, oh, there was a trust fund baby. Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's how it's supposed to go
You
down.
actually said something really interesting just now where you said that the people that we look up to, that they have it set. What do you think they should, like, there should be some onus on their end to just talk about that? Maybe, like you said, it's not sexy. Maybe you can't have like someone like I don't know, like a musician talk about that, because like now you might turn off your audience. Like, what are you talking about, bro? Like, you think that is the case? Like,
that's not what they. That's not where they make their money.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, let's make no mistake of it. This music thing's a business,
right.
You know what I'm saying? So they still got to make money to provide for their family. I would love to think that eventually they would get to a space where they do decide to educate the community or
Yeah.
invest into, you know, a community where, like, Earn Your Leisure, right? Like, everybody's a fan of Earn Your Leisure. I just went down to InvestFest in August, right?
Okay.
They bought a bunch of guests out. If they had a platform like that where they poured into that type of community to educate our people, I think it would go a lot further.
Yeah.
Right? I think we have to figure out a way to make it aesthetically appealing.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? If
Yeah.
it's not appealing, especially from a social and a community aspect, we don't indulge in it.
Right.
You know
right.
what I'm saying? And then in addition to that, I think one of our biggest issues as a community is that we love instant gratification.
Bingo.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Life insurance is not an instant
No, it's not.
gratification. It's delayed.
It's like, why
And
am
you
I putting all this money in?
You know what I'm saying? And then there's a chance, if you don't know how to finesse it the right way, you may not even benefit from it, right?
Correct.
Your family will benefit from it. And so a lot of people's going to be like, well, I'm not, like, this is my life, right?
Right.
And that's where the selfish mentality comes from.
That's it.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, like, we have to learn to become selfless. We have to learn to become investors. And we have to really learn to just get over a space where we're so hyper-focused on instant gratification. Nothing that is worth having comes overnight. Your favorite celebrity took 10, 15, 20 years
Word.
for them to get to where they're at.
Where they're
right?
at. Yep.
Jay-Z didn't get here overnight. He
Right.
got here in due time by putting the work in
Exactly.
every single day, studying the greats, gaining information, and just building.
That's it. That's
You know
it.
what I'm saying?
I think I've been saying this for a while. I feel as though like COVID was a gift and a curse in the sense of, respectfully to anyone that lost a family member to COVID, like my family was affected by that. But the gift is that it kind of forced people to just get out of the 9-to-5 mundane to see like, hey, you can be creatives. Hey, you can create another source of income that, hey, how are these people doing it, and questioning things. And I'll throw this challenge at you, and maybe we can make this a part 2 of this podcast. Because for me, again, the Cliff Notes Project is to present people that interest me, so that my notes and your notes can come together and we can share these notes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So people can be empowered. One thing I think you should do, and I would love to do that, maybe we can bring Brandon on the fold, because he's Mr. Celebrity now, is maybe we can find a celebrity and convince them like, hey, you know what? You're rich, but you should kind of be providing these type of lessons. Maybe you don't have to speak on it, but you can say,
influence.
exactly, why not create it? I think Charlemagne does something similar to that.
Okay.
You know what I mean? He's doing something, I think, this week. It's more so on mental health, right? But if you have a celebrity, say Takeoff, I don't know why Takeoff came up, you know what I'm saying, and you're in Atlanta and there's a relationship, Takeoff and be like, yo, listen to this brother here.
Fast.
Yeah.
Quavo?
Quavo. It's in rest in peace, Takeoff, my fault.
Yes. No,
And
you're good.
and just say like, yo, my man CJ, he knows what's up.
Yeah.
I took advantage of this, and y'all should listen, because then I think people, your words and your knowledge would be that much more powerful. And it's funny enough, I was talking to my dad yesterday, and I was like, yo, you have like some dope ideas, and I was like, I really wish that we can give it to someone that was super popular.
Yeah.
Whatever you're saying right now, someone else that's super popular will say it, and it's like gold.
Yeah.
Where with you, it's like, I guess.
Yeah.
So, and I guess that's who we are as people. It's like, if you're that rich, prove it. You know what I mean? But like, it's unfortunate, because I think there's a lot of information that can be powered, but the way to disseminate that information sometimes is like, you got to pay for it, and sometimes paying for it is to put it on the back of a celebrity. Yeah. And that kills me, and that blows my mind. But I digress. What I was saying is, I think I would love to collab with you. Is like, let's say, for example, we can get someone that is, that kind of has that swag that can bring some people. Absolutely. I think maybe what we should do is we could put a class. I'll be the video guy, and we can kind of put it out there, because to me, other races are doing this. I'll use Jewish people. I have Jewish friends, right? I moved in Randolph in 88, 87. My neighbor who's Jewish, like, used to always just school me. Older guy, always tell me. I worked at his deli, Fresher's Deli. Shout outs to Brian, good guy. And just the way they move. And I remember taking that conversation and saying it to my parents. My parents are straight from Haiti, first generation, so they don't know. Their thing is, shit, we made it, we're here, we got a house, we're sending you to Catholic school, your kids, you got to now go become doctors, lawyers, and engineers. We did our part. You know what I mean? And to even educate them on, like, hey, there's vehicles, which I know you want to jump on, but we'll do it as a part two, is after you set that life insurance up, what's up with the trust? Because life insurance, this little state called Massachusetts, they like to eat that, even in death. That's why everybody goes to Florida, ladies and gentlemen. There's a reason, So I think these are things that I want to come back. I want to talk about, but I really want to make it really powerful and impactful, because I ain't famous yet. You know what I'm saying? Right. Maybe they'll look back 2 years and be like, yo, you know what I'm saying? But like, to me, nah, like, let's figure something out, because to me, I learned a little bit more than what I knew, and I'm appreciative of that. Right. And your background and what you went through and how you got to where you are now just certifies that, you know what, the information is coming from a good place. Obviously, the same information could be provided by, someone that's not a nice person, but it's always nice to kind of just deal with some real people. Yeah, absolutely. You know what I'm saying? So salute for that. I think this was a super dope podcast. And again, let's definitely link up. Brandon, Agency Podcast, I appreciate them for this. If there's anything, let's sign you out. If there's anything you want to tell the camera, to the people, let's get one more time a follow-up over here.
Yeah. So once again, it's a CJ Rich Off Credit, but before we tap out, right, is it okay if I give them one last gem?
Do everything,
one
bro.
One last gem. Listen, y'all. So Cliff got a couple of kids. I got 2 boys. If you got kids, right, even if they're your god kids, put them on your credit cards as authorized users. So we talk about trade lines. You can put your kids on your credit cards as authorized users. So both my boys, 7 months and 3 years old.
Even at 7 months?
Even at 7 months.
Okay.
Even at 7 months.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You just got to find the right credit card company.
Got it.
And why you could do that by going to actually Google. You could Google authorized user age limits.
Okay.
Right? And it will give you a list of about 10.
Okay.
Right? Find your credit card company. And by the time they're 18, they'll have a 700 plus credit score, and they can actually walk out of the bank with upward of $100,000.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
I just had a mentee that I was doing it with. She just did it. Her kid turned 18. He walked out of the bank with $30,000.
Wow.
You get what I'm saying?
Okay.
That's just one bank. So you get 4 banks at 30 grand.
At 30 grand.
That puts you at $120,000.
But have a plan, ladies and gentlemen. Have a plan.
Have a plan.
Yeah.
We are investors, not consumers.
That's it.
You
I
know
like
what I'm
that.
saying? So
that's a T-shirt, bro.
Listen, facts.
That's a T-shirt.
That's facts. That's facts.
I mean?
So that would be my last gem, man. Make sure we take care of the babies. Make sure we put them in position.
I like that.
I love to speak on generational wealth. I'm a father. I love my kids. And it is my priority to set mine up for success, and I want everybody to do the same.
Man.
So that's my last gym, man.
That's beautiful. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, you know I only bring certain individuals in my little space, man. I'm a little crazy like that. But again, my name is Clifford Bonet, Cliff Notes P, and these are my notes.